How's everyone going today? While I'm off with this injury, can't do much, but yesterday started on Rhys's 066 red light, handlebar, rear handle swap to start with. The good spare one is a 660 handle, so that's put a halt on things until he finds a red light. So today, 288, bottom end, rebuild. This one's minty. I just got it off my hook and there's bar oil all over the muffler. I'm not 100% keen on where that's coming from. I know it's probably come out of the bar hole where it comes supposed to go into the bar, but it's all over the muffler, over the top of it. I'm just hoping it was run off up to the muffler. Not to worry, saw's getting a good clean. New bearings were sent from Rhys. They are, can't read the brand, Japanese I think. Nachi, yeah, Japanese. 6203 NSE. I don't know why they've got them in them, the grooves. Shouldn't make a difference. But they're smooth. Obviously grease packed. Full gasket set from Sean, Carby Doctor. Farmatech seals or whatever, whoever makes these. Might be Japanese as well. D&K. Written all over the gasket, so I've never had an issue with these. As you guys know, I always use these kits from Sean. Actually, on my 288 181 top end hybrid build, I actually cut that exact gasket on my machine inside, but it made this part here a little bit wide. It just sticks through the airbox a little bit. I just cut it off. Excuse me, I just had brekkie, bit of mince on toast. So we'll get into it. The sooner I get the crank in the freezer, the sooner we can get into it. Might just do the tear down today, right now, and then move into the reassembly tomorrow, see how I feel. This saw runs beautifully, it's just a little noisy on the bottom, so we're doing the bearings. It's a shame you can't just pop the bearings out and change them while they're in the saw, but that's what you got to do. Top cover's still got the sticker. Brand spanking new. It hasn't had the windows popped out yet. I don't know if that's a thing on the 88s. I know it is on the 281. So I don't even have a box here ready to put stuff in. I'll use the cover air filters loosely in there. It's a genuine air filter. It doesn't look genuine quality. I mean, this saw was built when I was 4, so for some reason it's got 2 rubbers there. A little bit of aluminium there too. So yeah, just bear with me. I might take one of those off and use the better of the 2. But the plan is to, oh, what's happened here? There's tape around the high tension lead. I wonder if that's been cut and joined. Feels like it. My plan's to take the top, the cylinder, muffler, everything off, all in one go. Recoil, flywheel, clutch, oil pump. So, that protective washer for the oil to stop the stuff getting in there. It's in 2 pieces. That's worn out. I'll have to find one of them. So I'll take the recoil off now. I need to wipe all this oil off. I thought the bar oil tank was empty. It's not. So even the fuel cap is leaking. Might swap it out for him. It's been hanging on a hook in that position for about 4 weeks. I've got to get me a new decal for my starter. What do you guys reckon I should put on it? 288 or 281? Because technically it's a 181 top end with 288 running gear down below, 288 carb, 288 rear handle. I've just got to buy a piston for it. And an air filter, and it'll be complete. It's got the big 288 7th AV mount spring with the 288 bucking spikes off this saw, because they're worn down and there's no point on them anymore. Rhys has got a decent set at his house, so he's going to put them on this saw. This is how he sent it, minus the handlebar, side cover. Makes it a bit quicker to do the job. I thought all these screws were captive, they're coming out. This is the first 288 I've worked on so far, except for building my own hybrid saw. I've worked on 181s. That one I built for Rhys. He sent me another one in about the same condition as this one to service, diagnose, tune. All it needed was a little bit of a tickle on the carb, and she's O1. Seal, he wanted me to check the seals. Excuse the gut. this doesn't have a kill switch. Yes, it has this. I just put the switch in, 372 type. It's going to be a bit of a mission to make it work because it's not the single tab. Standard type, factory type from the 288s. So I'm going to run another wire. I'll just run an earth the earth tab to here, like on my 2100. But I do have to unplug. I don't think that one unplugs, does it? Yes. Try and unplug this wire here. There we go. Now the top end can come off. There's no screw in the elbow there. I might have to get right hand elbows from maybe J-Car, spade bits, for the kill switch to run them. That's it. Look, that looks and feels like a brand new grommet for the throttle arm. So that's out of the way. I could pull that out. I might completely remove the coil yet to do this job. Fuel tank's got to come off. There's no way, no ifs, buts or maybes about that. That screw got the nut behind it. Yeah. While I'm on the in the talkative mood, I've noticed on a lot of saws they don't have the AVs rubbers screwed into there. So my saw, my 288, there's four. There's an AV there. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Technically this is a five rubbers. It's under your back four and this big one here at the front. Mine has one here, one there. Mine has 7, not 5. I don't know if they've perished over the years, but mine are screwed into the, there's thread holes. Actually, this has never had them. I can see in there, there's no threads in the holes, but you can put these same AV rubbers with they screw into the tank and then you just screw through here. My saw is probably going to vibrate a hell of a lot more than this one. Then it might not. I haven't run it yet. I find if it's too stiff, I'll take these two out, but I can run I'm thinking about putting a 36 on mine, even though it's only going to be 81 cc's or whatever. Just thought I'd say that. I've only just noticed now, this is the third, fourth saw of 181, 288 I've seen without the AVs in the front. But that could just be because whatever screws onto the back of them very new, because there's a lot of threads hanging out. It could just be a stopper. I don't know. But I made mine AV. Has anybody else done that? I've never run an 88, 288. I've run and cut with that 181 of Rhys's once. That cut, I left it still rich. He's since run it and is very, very pleased with it. So that's good. Don't want to send a saw to the owner too lean, because then I'm in trouble. I'll get that later. I can't bend over that far at the moment. So I'll just stick the T-wrench in there. This is the chain catcher, which is broken off. Side. Get the tank out of the way, and then I can really get into it. Such a shame about this red light. I could have had it completely reassembled and running yesterday if the fuel tank was correct, the replacement one. It's not very new, but it cleaned up really, really well. Bit of degreaser and Bob's your uncle. Cleaned up really well. Very, very low hour MS660, I'd say, or a round top 066. That's my guess, round top 066 it would have been off. This is the last AV of the lot. Now I just got to pop off fuel hose. It's very clean, all this. And now top one, oh, still another one to go. I'll have to see if Rhys has got that sawdust cap that goes on the clutch and that, etc. Pop the excuse me, fuel tank grommet through, the fuel hose grommet, so it can be put back through later. It's a bit of a mission to get it through. I had fun doing it on my saw. Mine had two grommets for some reason, and because this has the spring on the front, it could be a bit of a mission to get it out. So it's the same way. Done. Luckily I had it apart. It'll get cleaned before it goes back together, but these same AVs will screw into there if you want it seven 6 rubber mounts and a spring mount. That's no big issue. Let's have a look at this. There's a lot of sand. That is sand. Around the fuel tank cap hole, I'll flush the tank out as well. although it does still have fuel in it. So I think I'll put that fuel in to give it a test. Sand and crap around in there. Now the cap should seal. Not fully, needs a new cap. I'll add that to the list. I've got one modern, actually, just a new O-ring and fix it, if you know the size, but that's going to have to sit down there on the concrete, drain out and do whatever. There's still a little bit of sand in the threads, but I'll worry about that later on. I'm glad I got it apart. That's dirty. Alright. See if my little machine will get the clutch off. No, not enough power. Might have to get the other one. Back in the tick. Okay, kind of jump forward a little bit while the battery for the impact's charging. I've misplaced my bigger impact driver. As soon as I switch this off, I remembered that Rhys said this is an aftermarket top end. There's no markings on it. It's stock standard. He's got a slightly ported one. He sent back with me when I was there on my holiday. I've just taken the muffler off and someone's made a homemade gasket out of a soft drink can. Very thin aluminium, has been leaking. I can throw that away because I've got the correct gasket for it now. So yeah, someone's slightly ported a Pharmatech cylinder. No transfer work, no, the numbers haven't been touched, they've just opened, widened the intake and exhaust port. So he wanted me to do a bit of transfer work and timing numbers. I'm thinking the same as I've done to the 029 build. Doesn't have to be a orangutan, just a little bit more RPMs with a bit of torque gains. I'll roughen the intake, open up the transfers a touch. I'm not going to touch the transfer timing. These are pretty good saws out of the box anyway, so I'll just give it a couple of degrees on the exhaust roof. Give a bit more RPMs. And this top end wasn't done that long ago. run an OEM gasket by the looks. Lucky I got to tear this saw down. Look at that. It doesn't go to where the I believe this gasket was on the wrong way for a start. Let's have a look at the cylinder. No maker's mark, no nothing on it. It's obviously Pharmatech. It's been ground to fit, so maybe it's a big bore kit, I'm not 100%. But I'll do a on the other cylinder. It's not quite run in yet. There's still crosshatch marks. I don't know if you will see it with this light. Very close to being run in, fully run in. So yeah, excuse that. That's where the injury is down there. Oh. I think it's ingested some plating. Have a look. You see that colour change in the intake there? That's flaking. I could peel that off with my nail. So it must be a very early Pharmatech top end, but we'll put that away. There is some stuff. Some grit inside the case. Lucky I picked that up. It could be just from the bearings. See if I can give you a sound. It's the flywheel side. Flat top piston, single ring. Very oily. I've got a feeling that the oil tank's leaking inside the case. I'll get this ring off. It's still symmetrical, so she wasn't completely run in. This would be 54 mil top end. I'll get a cleaner rag. A few scratches, nothing to worry about. Nice little blue dot on top of the piston, so it was rebuilt was done not long ago. I don't know if Rhys did it himself or what the dealio is there, but I think Rhys wants this A1 because it's going to be a show pony and occasional use, like a shelf queen. Geez, they come out easy. Now what I do is, because the crank's going to go in the freezer, that's an OEM cage bearing. Give you a look. There's still machine marks on the piston. That's intake side, exhaust side. Not quite running yet, but no markings that I can see that I recognise. There's like an M in a circle, that's about it. I'll sit that there. Trigger arm grommet I'm going to leave there. I'll have to go one day and get some right hand female spade bits. Cases will get degreased once they're completely disassembled. But that's that. I want to have a look at that. I've got to get the 3mm Allen T-handle from the man cave. Bar studs can stay there because I believe one was fallen in. These nuts have had it. I'll get some new ones off Sean. So that's where I'm at. Once the battery's charged, I'll come back and we'll try and remove the clutch and the flywheel and the oil pump. Split the cases. Actually, I'll have a quick look now, see how much oil's left in the tank. None. Where's the light? Actually, I've got a torch here. The old Dolphin with LED globe in it. It's got water in it. It's milky residue. Oh, I'm glad I'm doing this. There's a fair whack of sawdust in there. I do have another torch somewhere, like the one the Tin Man uses in his puts it in the plug hole to check his timing. It's not DeWalt or anything, it's a cheap brand. 18 volt job. Had to dig out some sawdust out of that. Just remove the coil while I'm sitting here. The old SEM blue ignition. These ones seem to be a lot more reliable than the 2100 SEM ignition, but don't quote me on that. I think I heard someone say the 288s and 181, 281s with this type ignitions had problems, but so far I haven't experienced it, and it just happened to be the magnet stuck there. Oh, look at that, that one I give a nice strong spark with it. So that's, doesn't even smell like bar oil. Put the cap back on, she's going to get a nice clean. My badge on my hybrid build, you can't read it. It's a black badge like this. No doubt it's a 288. It could be an 81. But like I said, she's got the 88 fuel tank with the same carb as this. Flywheels are the same across the three models. Ignition's the same, except you got black. That 181 I built for Rhys, they had a black, excuse me, mince repeats on me, but it's just so good. It had black coil and trigger when it arrived here, but when it went back it had the blue because the black wasn't sparking. I believe the blue ignition is better. Someone else out there might be able to prove me wrong. I've only dealt with them for 12 months now. 12 months ago, Rhys sent the 3 saws and parts to build one 181, and it went back with an 88 ignition, 181 top end, same case, just different rear handle with the 266 type throttle linkage. Yeah, that's enough yakking. I'll get back to you when my battery's charged, and we'll take the clutch, oil pump, flywheel, and split the cases. See you then, hooroo. How's it going? I was just sitting here. I thought I'll show you how I knew, or what to look for when your bearings are gone, even if they're not noisy per se. Sometimes when you turn the crank, it'll spring back and stick. It's not doing it now. It's actually quite smooth now. That noise you can hear is only the conrod rubbing on the case, but the bearing that's noisy is the flywheel side. But I just thought I'd check sideways movement. I don't know if you will see it, but doesn't want to do it now. Can you see that? It's moving about 2 mil up and down. So just give me a quick second here. I want to. Okay, yeah, inner race is worn out. Was hoping it didn't spin the bearing in the case, because then I'd have to get Rhys to send me another clutch side case back. Anyway, back to it, back shortly.